What is going on, guys? It is your boy Thriller here, and you're here for week number 1 of the SAD League. I don't remember what the SADL stand for. I apologize. I will look that up for next week. We are taking on Nubis Trainer Joe, and we are taking on the format I hate the worst. Stall. Well, play style, I should say. But before we dive, if you guys want to show your support, hit the like button, you haven't already, subscribe if you're new, join the crew today because you'll be thrilling with the Kingdom crew. Now let's break down Joe's team based on generations. These are generations 1 through 9, and here's his picks. He's got a Fable, Balissi, Mega Sableye, Lyscore, Amoonguss, Avalugg, Toxapex, Corviknight, and Clodsire. Based on my opponent's team, it is nothing but stall and fat. The big advantage I will have in this matchup is going to be speed. My speed tiers are phenomenal in this matchup because I can easily go modest, adamant. There's only one Pokemon that actually provides a little bit of a problem if it runs speed versus us, and that would be Gliscor. Gliscor having a good speed tier here is, but if anything, based on how I think Joe needs to build his team, I don't think he's going to have speed on his Gliscor, but I am prepared for the speed on Gliscor if it is brought. Well, let's break down what about Joe's team is very annoying. Clefable is the Amon that could either be a Magic Guard sweeper while being defensive and also just being an annoying Mon with Unaware. It could set up and basically just blow past my team, but I can't break it. Blissey, God help me all. This thing's super fat and it's super annoying. It's Mega Sableye. Once it loses that prankster ability, it is not that much of an issue. It's still annoying and fat, and utility is really good against our team. But what's also really good is that Sableye, it doesn't have to Mega turn 1. If I hadn't said it already in our draft analysis, Megas for this league do not need to turn 1 Mega. So this Sableye can be as annoying as it wants to be for as long as it wants to be for the time being. So definitely going to be a mon that we have to be very cautious and careful around. Gliscor, again, is one of his two main hazard format mons. I do think if he's bringing Gliscor here, this is going to be more of a toxic stall Gliscor, whereas Clodsire, if he does bring that one, is going to be more of his hazard support on this week. But again, if we don't see Clodsire and Gliscor's there instead, Gliscor will have either spikes or rocks. They'll have one or the other to go from there. Amoonguss, one of the only mons I actually don't think is going to be guaranteed to come versus us, but has a chance to. Spore is very annoying for my team to really deal with. I don't have to really play around that. Avalugg, don't think it's going to come though. Avalugg is one of those mons I think it would only really come for maybe one or two specific Pokemon, but can still kind of be setup fodder and doesn't really do too much elsewhere out of anything else. Toxapex, a much annoying threat, in one of his two ways to beat my. Well, actually, I think it's going to be actually three, technically, with Avalugg, actually. But one of his three ways to beat my Dracovish. Because if you look at Dracovish here, he's hungry for vengeance. Corviknight, a very imposing steel type that is very annoying as a fat bird itself, and it can actually have a lot of variations of ways of setting up, and also just being a really annoying mon, a good utility support option. And of course, Clodsire, one of the again counter that he's going to have to use, and he's going to feel very confident to run Water Absorb on this Clodsire over Unaware, over Unaware, because Clodsire can just easily sit in front of Dracovish and just be an annoying fat blob that just looks at you with the derpy eyes and everything else. With the team I expected his top four and then Corviknight plus Clodsire. I could see Toxapex swapped in there over something maybe like the Corviknight or Clodsire if he's going to go with one ground type versus two. There could be a chance we maybe see Avalugg if he feels like he needs a fully physically defensive wall, but I think there's other options for him there. But just overall, I think the three Pokemon I don't see mostly coming here is Avalugg, Toxapex. I think those are just going to get overwhelmed pretty easily from what I have on my team. Amoonguss, I don't think is that overwhelmed by it, so I can definitely see itself slipping through the cracks because of Spore. But yeah, the six I'm expecting is Clefable, Blissey, Mega Sableye, Lyscore, Corviknight, and Clodsire. So let's take a look at the team that we built this week. We're kicking it off with my boy, Mr. Vish. Kicking off with our Gen 8 squad homie here. Now we're going Dracovish this week because even though Dracovish does have a little bit of a rough matchup here because there is a couple of answers to it, outside of those answers, Dracovic has nothing that stops it. Now we are taking a bit of a risk with this set that we're rocking out here with. We're rocking with protective pads here. I'm going sub so that way I cannot be toxic. I cannot be willowed. I basically cannot be stopped by that Sableye unless he's going to force himself to try to break my sub. If he can live one hit from me, he breaks the sub. But the thing is, if he stays his base Sableye, he's just straight up dying. There's nothing he can do about that. I have enough speed to outspeed a non-speed invested Gliscor. So I did take the risk here of running speed for that because Gliscor is still a relatively fast mon without that speed. I could have went Jolly for more bulk, but I'm going pure adamant to hit insanely hard because my two main moves being Fisher's Rin and and Psychic Fangs are going to be boosted by that Strong Jaw, which again has no real switching on my opponent's roster, which is really good for us here. So I have to be very careful, play around my Dracovic here, and I do need to maybe be on the scout for hidden choice scarf users because I could hear some hidden tricks or even just hidden scarfers in general that can kind of catch some stuff off balance here. But Dracovic though with the protective pads, I can't be hurt by the Rocky helmet, which is really, really good for us here. And basically, it's going to be one of those months to be very difficult for my opponent to break sub. I at most can only get maybe two, if I'm lucky, three subs out of this Pokemon. But otherwise, Dracovic is here just to be a breaker. I don't think he's going to be our win condition here, but he's definitely going to be a breaker and put in a lot of work this week. Up next, kicking off from Gen 7, rocking a mixed defensive Celesteela here. I actually was thinking to myself here of like kind of what a variant I really wanted here. And this variant kind of just does what I need to do. With a sub 3 attacks variant with just being a very defensive mon, I was thinking about something like Leech Seed, but the fact that, there is no Rapid Spinner there, I was really kind of debating twist and turning about this stuff. But then I thought to myself, like, he really does break this thing as well. Like Blissey gets 2 to 3 KO'd by this Pokemon, and it's always forcing 50-50s. With this speed tier, I believe we are faster than Corviknight with no speed investment and everything else below. Gliscor, we do not outspeed, so that's gonna be the only one that's annoying, but Gliscor can't really do too much to touch me, if not really do anything. Sub then becomes a little risky if we get our leftovers knocked off, so I had to be a little cautious around that. We do have a beast boost to where we will get a defense raise, so that we can take more hits. I didn't probably think these out a little bit with my defense boosters, but I think having a defense raise is fine because it helps neutralize foul play damage, which also having that minus nature. Heavy Slam still guarantees a 2 KO on the Clefable and can still 2 to 3 hit KO a what's this thing? Blissey. Overall, if we see anything else, I think I can pretty much cover my bases around with this Pokemon. And kicking the theme up, Substitute, our third substitute Pokemon here, and we're rocking a very unique spread this week. We are going with an offensive physical Nidoking this week versus the standard special variant we see. I think physically, offensively, this is just a good matchup for Nidoking. I know I'm going to have to click Earthquake a few times with this type of a mon because I'm not rocking Poison Jab. Now, you may be asking yourself, why am I not rocking out with Poison Jab? Poison Jab only really has one use, and that is Clefable. Now, yes, I can hit it for Blissey and it can poison itself, but with Natural Cure, it gets out of it. Yeah, I can try to poison things like make a Sableye, and even potentially the Avalugg, but that's just about it. There's nothing else I can really poison that would have it. And if for some reason he is Magic Guard Clef, it wouldn't be purpose to have the poison there. So we're taking a risk here. We're putting Earthquake here on the Sheer Force Spring, and then Ice Punch plus Thunder Punch literally hit the majority of the team for super effective neutral damage. Obviously, if Avalugg does come there and not having the Flamethrower, which I was debating on potentially having here on the set, is because again we are faster than no speed invested Gliscor, so we're hoping and praying that no speed on the Gliscor here, and it's not max HP, max speed. Because it pretty much is near me max speed, it's going to be more of a threat for Dracovic and Nidoking to deal with it more. But we are adamant with max attack, 56 in defense, rest and speed depth to have a little bit more of a speed depth tank on him this week, and just to really hit hard this week. Up next, we got, by the way, Thunder, the Thunder Spherian here, and we're rocking out with some fire this week. I'm rocking the Naive Nature, which guarantees me outspeeding the speed creep that Gliscor can do against my Dracovic and my Nidoking without having to run any speed investment. But with this speed investment, this is a very risky set here. Discharge pretty much is there to just spread paras and just to hopefully slow more things down, allow me to have good setup opportunities, and to play a little game of Yellow Magic. But what's really important is the tech we're bringing us. We're rocking out with Hammer Arm, which this is enough to 2-hit KO Blissey if it's not fully Fizz Depth. This can help us do that, which is one way we can beat Blissey. The other cool tech we have here is role play. Now, role play is a move that basically replaces the ability with the target. So basically, if I role play, for example, the Gliscor, I get, and he tries to poison me, and then I role play, I get poison heal as my ability now. So therefore, meaning I can now just sit in front of everything and just spam attacks. Now, obviously, that's going to result in potential PP stall war and everything like that, and it's not going to be the greatest for us there. But this Mon does insanely really well here. It's a good offensive piece into this my opponent's team, and it can hit a lot of things hard. So I'm really hoping the tech pays off with Thunderous here, and hopefully we can put in a lot of work. Up next, kind of was a tough bring on this one. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was really kind of tempted on what I wanted to really have for my team. And even though I don't think this mon does a ton of great things for us, I think based on the synergy you could have with everything else, I think I have to take the risk with this. We are rocking with Protein, taking a bit of a risk with this type of idea here. But we are rocking with Meowscarada, my boy Sneaky here, rocking with the Adamant Nature with Max Attack, rest into our defenses in Spadef. Rocking a little bit more Spadef than Fizdef here because of the fact of how the team is built. We have Taunt here to basically shut down any hazards, any hazards that could be potentially coming up our way, any toxics and stuff like that. Knock off the remove items. Flower Trick for good General Stab, which does hit his team relatively hard with, and then triple axle just hit everything else. We are rocking out with protective pads to make sure we can get rid of all those helmets. Bit of a risk probably to have a second pads user, but I want to have the sincerity because this thing's meant to be chipping things down and breaking things down for our team. And what could arguably be another good potential win condition slash really good breaker for this matchup is our Deoxys Speed, aka 51 here. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I'm being straight up with you. This DOS actually can beat Blissey 1v1. Simply put, I taunt, Drain Punch, Psy Shock. Drain Punch plus Psy Shock basically keeps this thing within range where Max Attack and Max Fizz Dev can guarantee itself almost be two-shotted if it's not fully Fizz Dev. This is a guaranteed check option to Blissey, which is insane because Blissey gives me about almost 50% of my health back with a Drain Punch, which is insane here. We are taking a risk of having Ice Beam over Thunderbolt here just to make sure we can hit the Gliscor here. Because Gliscor is the only thing I'm really concerned about here. If Corviknight isn't like not having it for Corviknight will suck a little bit, but I'm feeling really good. We're going to rock with Cobra Berry just so we can make sure if we need to take a hit from that Sableye and we can knock it out with an Ice Beam potentially, we'll do that. Otherwise, it's really good usage for having it against any other potential Dark Spam on my opponent's team. But that's gonna be the team here, guys. I don't really know if we're gonna win this one. I pulled out some really cool strats here, and I'm hoping we can find some way. As long as we don't get 6-0'd, I'll take it. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and get connected with Joe, and I'll see you guys for the battle. And we're here for the battle, guys. We're here to take on Joe, and he ends up not bringing... He does not bring Toxapex, which I am very happy to see no Toxapex here. So he did decide to go double ground on me here. Very interesting that he would go double ground here. Double ground's really interesting here. So that does make my Sneaky now actually more important to keep around here, which is actually really important. Actually, let me double just check here. Okay, he did bring everything. So my Thunderous pretty much can do a lot of rolling slash winning as long as I get rid of the Light Score. I don't see a world where I don't see a really bad idea here of just leading off with Dracovish. The worst case is if he leads with... What do I want to lead here with? I think I'm going to lead with Dracovish here. Because he leads... Okay, he's going to lead Sableye, which means he's going to Prankster turn me on here. So that's not good. I think I'm just going to play it safe here. I'm just going to go into... He's going to Willow here. I can't have my Celesteela build. I literally can't have anything else Willow. I have to go Sneaky here. And I have to play safe here. He's actually going to turn one Mega and Protect. Interesting. So we do see the Protect there from the Sableye. So that probably tells me that this is toxic, which is cringe. So, Mega Sableye. That's a weird looking Sableye there, man. Mega. Okay, so if he's fully Bizdiff, this Flower Trick does 33 to 40%. He can burn me now. So let me think here. I could Flower Trick here first, because I don't mind Sneaky getting burned. Sneaky's Joel here, Joel. Job here is basically to taunt stuff and just kind of chip things down. I really cannot afford. Yeah, I cannot afford a lot of my stuff to get burned. And I think I want to gauge the damage here. So you gotta have Protect, Toxic, Recover. I think I figured. So I'm gonna scout this real quick. I want to see if the Sableye is physically defensive or it's specially defensive. That's what I want to figure out with the Sableye here. Now the question is, are you Protect because you have a couple of mons with Toxic, or do you Protect because of the fact you wanted to? Interesting that he would turn 1 Mega. Very interested that he's protecting again. Interesting. I think I just clicked Flower Trick here again. There's no reason not to just click it. Very interested to know why he went for the Protect there again. He just wasted 2 Protect turns, which is actually good for us. So he's gonna go Corviknight here. We can see it. Okay, it's Pressure Corviknight, which I had a feeling would be. So 11%. Okay, we don't see leftovers. This is probably fully physically defensive based on this Corviknight. Actually, might not be. For Flower Trick to do that little, it might just be max HP. Actually, no, I think it's specially defensive. I think it's specially defensive based off that. It's just max HP. Again, that's based on what I'm seeing here. I think I'm just gonna knock here. I could also taunt here, but I think I'm gonna knock here because I want to get rid of a potential item. Light Clay. Perfect. Now I'm gonna taunt right here. We're getting the light screen up, which is huge. So now let's look at that knockoff damage. So 27% based off that knockoff damage. Hold on, that doesn't make sense to me. Hold on. Is it Fizdev? Okay, so that Flower Trick... I'm so confused. How did that Flower Trick do so little? I don't know why they did so little. I'm really confused why they did so little. I really am. Okay, so we see Light Screen, we see Roost. So the fact that it's dual screens, which means we're probably seeing Reflect, Light Screen, and Roost, which means your last move... Oh my god. So that means your last move is either U-turn or Brave Bird. You're probably going to U-turn here. I don't really hate going for Axel here. Axel's a pretty good coverage move. It's just about everything else I have here. I think I'm just going to click Axel here. Okay, we get good damage here. Do we see U-turn? The U-turn is the pivot move here of choice. So, he did get light screen up before. Okay, so Sableye is coming in now. So this Sableye is more than likely going to click Will-O-Wisp here. So this thing's not that much of a threat now. So that means if I can get Deoxys in right now, Ice Beam 24 to 29. Ice Beam into Drain Punch or Psy Shock into an Ice Beam now kills it, which is huge for us. I think I want to see how much damage this is going to do to Sableye. Like I said, this thing's job was just to kind of stop things from doing stuff, so I think I am just going to scout how much damage it's going to do. Alright, so that does 49. We see the knockoff. Okay, so we see knockoff as his one move there. Alright, so we see knockoff, Mega, Sableye. Let's just look at that damage there. With Meow, Flower Trick should have done. So that's not physically defensive on his Sableye then, which is good to know. So there's probably a chance a triple Axel knocks him out here. There's also a chance another Flower Trick knocks him out. There is probably a chance a Flower Trick knocks him out here. I think I'm going to go for the Flower Trick here and just pray we get the damage roll. We get the damage roll. Let's go. Huge threat. Gone. Meowscarada putting in amazing work this week. And you know what's funny, guys? I said I wasn't going to bring this thing. I actually was kind of talking myself. I was trying to talk myself out of bringing this thing. I really was. I really was talking myself out of this thing. But oh my god, this thing came in clutch. Now, I'm obviously really sorry to Joe. That was a 1000% a roll. At 51%, how much was that in my favor? It was about a. It was pretty much basically a coin flip if I was going to get it or not. Alright, this thing's coming in here. I don't let this thing do anything here. I'm just clicking taunt here. Sneaky can go down. Sneaky did fantastic, man. Sneaky did exactly what I wanted him to do. Yep, we're not letting you Thunder Wave here. And now I think what I do here, so we see Thunder Wave on the Clefable here. So we see Thunder Wave here on Clefable. What is more important for me to do here? Let me look at my Meowscarada versus a fully Fizz-Def Clef. Okay, so this is probably based on the fact he just did this type of set. I think it's this type of set here. I think it's much more important to find out if this thing has an item or not that it could be beneficial to him. So, my thought process is this. I can Flower Trick, right? And get massive damage off. I can get it probably close to about 50% if it's not full Fizz-Def Clef. I also could just go for a knockoff to remove his item. The point of the matter is this, though. He can't do too much outside of that, though. That's my thing here. He might swap out, but at the same time, there's no point of him swapping out. What's more important here? Getting rid of his item or going for damage here? I mean, I always have Nidoking in the back, which Nidoking now looks very good here. Yeah, I'm gonna go for my damage here. Alright, 39. That's fully Fizz-Def Clef, which is good for us here. I go Nidoking right away here. Not even gonna think about it, and I'm gonna pull off my substitute here. So we do see Thunder Wave Moonblast. So he is probably the set that I'm thinking he is based off the Showdown calcs. And we don't see Leftovers, which is huge for us. It's really huge for us. So he is definitely fully Fizz-Def Clef. And we got a relatively low roll, which makes up for the fact we got the high roll there. In comes Corviknight here. I'm clicking Thunder Punch here, which always should kill Corviknight here. Again, unless he ran a lot of speed on his Corviknight, he should not outspeed me. I should outspeed him. I'm at 227. Awesome. Get the Corviknight out of here. That's huge for us as well. Alright, in comes Clodsire here. I'm clicking Earthquake here. He's probably Shook-a-Berry. He's not Shook-a-Berry. Okay. Here, I'm going to Ice Punch. Nice, safe, big ground play here. Yup, get the Gliscor, baby. Let's go. Yachi. That's fine for us. Wait, he's not... He's not one thing. I'm going to Ice Punch here. I'm going to see if he is. So he did run speed on his Gliscor. Which was definitely a bit of a problem here. But that's fine. We go into you. I click Psyshock here. No other reason to go into anything else here. In comes the Blissey. Oh dear God, that thing just got no defense. This is fully specially defensive wall. Oh my God, get rid of the Blissey. Holy shit, that did so much damage. In comes Clef, I taunt, don't let him do anything here. I Psyshock here again. Looking like a 2-hit KO here. Did get the special attack drop, which definitely sucks here. And got a crit. I don't know if that crit mattered. Clefable. Deoxys speed. I think that crit might have mattered there. Psyshock doing 20 to 30%. Oh my god, another crit, dude. GG. Sorry for the bad RNG and rolls. And we actually pick up the big 4-0 win, baby. Oh my god, I actually cannot believe. Oh my god, dude. Holy shit. I actually cannot believe we won that. I'm really shocked we won that. The prep paid off though, man. Meow did exactly what I wanted. Joe, unfortunately, just I think had to make the plays he needed. I think he had. Oh my god. At least Joe's a good sport. He kind of knows what that's kind of like the one flaw about the stall build teams is that taunt shut it down. But oh my god, we prepped and played fantastic, man. I'm so proud of myself on that one, man. Obviously, it's not proud to always beat someone, especially with RNG factor in there. So again, if he was fully biz dev clef, based on what I was assuming there, so we did how much with that slice shock? Just double check. We did 30% to him, which means we got max roll, which means he should have lived. Oh yeah, that crit sealed it. That crit 1000% sealed it for him. Because if Clodsire is like a fully like if it's Spadev, even at -1 it dies. If it's fully Fizz Dev, it still died. So basically it didn't matter at that point in time. The crit on the Clefable what's really mattered there. But at the same time, Clef was taunted, it got 2 KO'd. Clef would have just basically got another Moonblast off, and he just would have had to hope for a crit to knock me out. But essentially the crit didn't matter. I think the only thing that mattered in that game was the fact that we got the max damage roll on Sableye because I'm pretty sure he was clicking recover on that turn. But oh my god, GG's to Joe though. I do feel bad for getting a little lucky of the RNG there. Obviously the critical fable didn't matter because he was taunted, and I was basically in that quote like 3-hit KOing him with Psyshock at that point. I don't think there was literally anything he could have done. Again, unless he gets a crit, because based off Moonblast damage, he got 41%, right? Um, he did 47. So he based. Oh, he's actually. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong Pokemon. Yeah, Moonblast basically would have came. Actually, unless he gets. I'm at 52.7. I actually guaranteed would have lived that Moonblast if he got max roll. So that's just unfortunate, Joe, man. And that's how Pokemon is, man. But yeah, GG's to Joe, though. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Sorry, maybe if I felt like I dragged up the video. It wasn't trying to my intention or anything like that. But yeah, GG's to Joe. I'll see you guys for week number 2 as we take on the Cricketune, the master himself, Brody. But you guys actually will be seeing that video for quite a long time because one, I'm going to try to balance my playlist with my LPs and stuff with this. And also, I'm going to be breaking the fourth wall. I have already come back from my trip, but I'm going on a trip to Vegas. Probably get to see my good buddy Rose. Rose already got 2. And I'm going to have a nice time with family and just enjoy a nice vacation. I'm going to have to play Brody and whoever my week 3 opponent is, which I think is Lamar, funny enough. Play those guys. But yeah, overall, yeah, G's to Joe, and I'll see you guys for week 2 whenever you guys see it. Peace out, guys.